That's a little park, not far from my apartment. I actually live down that street and over there. I'm just out for a walk. It is just before 6 p.m. Monday. I think it's August 26th. I'm just quiet till that guy passed. Anyway, this is one of the routes I take for a walk. This takes me down to the river, and then I walk down one side of the river. I guess it would be the north side, although the way the streets twist around, I don't think it's actually north, although I live on the north side of the station. Then I cross this bridge and come back on the other side. And around this time of day, I should see some bats. So anyway, here's my route. I come down this hill and past a cemetery. The sun, there's just a tiny little sliver of orange sun coming through those clouds, but it should clear up a bit more. Hopefully. It is slightly cloudy today. And compared to Saskatchewan, this is fairly humid, but a lot less than it has been in July and August, especially August. So I'd say this past week, the humidity dropped a lot, and my days off are Sunday and Monday. So yesterday and today, it was fairly comfortable. And at night, it's a lot cooler, which is unusual. So I feel like summer has kind of petered out a bit, but might come back for September. Sometimes does. Now you can see this is fairly common away from the station area. Streets don't really have sidewalks, but they're open for pedestrians, of course, so people just stick to the side. The street that goes up to my apartment is actually a two-way street, but it's barely wide enough for one car. Like your side mirrors will almost hit the shrubbery on either side. So it's a two-way lane, but it's barely wide enough for one vehicle, and people are supposed to walk up and down. So duck into someone's driveway or the front stoop to their house if a vehicle's coming, and you just get out of the way. So this was not a planned city by any means, as I can demonstrate here. So this is one of 3 cemeteries I can pass by on different routes from my apartment. This is actually a big one. This is a real size cemetery with buildings and everything. Basically right across from my apartment is a small, I suppose, family cemetery with maybe like under a dozen headstones, I'd guess. And then on the way to the station, up this hill, there's a tiny little park, way smaller than that one, with like a swing set. And next to it is another tiny little cemetery with a handful of graves. So you can find these little cemeteries sprinkled out here and there, and once in a while a big one. So I'm not sure how the zoning works in Japan. You go down a street and there'll be a house next to a convenience store, next to an electronics shop, next to a cemetery, next to a temple. So I don't know what's residential and what's commercial and what's industrial. Things are fairly jumbled up. So I crossed this street, and then there's a road there that goes down to the river. So I'll just wait for the signal to change. And there's pretty much no traffic. There are roads, but almost no one uses them down by the river, so it should be a lot quieter, no traffic noises once they get down there. There we go. So some people have farms, actual farms where they grow rice, and other people, I think, either own or rent land to grow vegetables and fruit. So this guy here, or whoever owns this, sells nashi, which are Japanese pears, and also I guess he grows grapes. And as we come down here, we'll see the pear trees, these little round apple pears. I love nashi. It might be my favorite fruit. And they're actually being sold now in August, which I think it seems kind of early. But you can see there are pears on the trees and a lot on the ground. And sometimes they have little signs up where you can buy them. And sometimes I've seen just baskets with signs that say take one if you want one, and there are more pears over here. I'll get a little look in their gate. So some down there on the ground, and yeah, there's some on the trees. You can't really see them that well because of all the leaves, but pear trees right here. And then here's like a normal type of garden. I don't know what that stuff is. And here is the river. So people often go cycling along here. I usually go earlier in the day when the sun's a bit higher, but sometimes around this time, when the insects come up off of the river, when the water starts to cool down and the air cools down a bit, the bats come out, but I don't see any. Like down here toward the bridge, there are often dozens and dozens of bats just swooping and swirling around, picking the insects out of the air. Now this little thing often has trash and stuff. I can see a couple pet bottles floating in the water there. But I think it's these rocks here that I once saw a cormorant, a duck, and a turtle just chilling out on different rocks. But no birds, no ducks. Last weekend there were some cranes came flying in and swooped down. Here come a couple birds right on the surface of the water. They're going somewhere. And that rocky place there is somewhere that turtles and birds like to hang out too, but nothing there today. Maybe too late in the day. So like I was saying, I walked down this side of the river. Now I live on the north side of the station. The station's over there, because I live outside of Kitaguchi, which means north exit. And Minamiguchi is south exit. So you'd assume this is the north side of the river, but the sun sets over there, which would be west, which makes sense. But sometimes when you're on the streets and you get twisted around, you're not sure which direction you're facing in. So let's just say I'm on the north side of the river. So I'll get my face back on here. I don't know what's better, the route I'm walking and the scenery around me, or my face on the camera. If you watch this, let me know what you'd rather see. I'd rather see the view myself. Also, I haven't made a lot of walking vlogs with this camera, so I'm going to be investing in a couple better mics. One would be a lapel mic, and one would be a boom mic coming off the top of the camera. So I'm not sure how the audio quality is of my voice when I'm behind the camera recording things. I'm just trying not to get the runners and the people walking in camera. Okay. So I like this place. I like to come walking along here. I'll walk along the river, cross the bridge, go back down there, and then by those trees swing toward the station, and then do whatever business I have to do on the south side of the station, like banking. There's a couple supermarkets I like. But I did most of that this afternoon because I had some banking to do. So I'll probably walk back across there and go down and just record the rice fields a little bit. No bats. That's too bad. They're quite interesting to watch. I don't know what's in that greenhouse, but this is some of the garden area I was talking about. And people grow things as a hobby, or they take their produce to farmers markets. I know some students who take a lot of pride in their produce. And sometimes they bring their extras to the school and give them to me or to the other staff. Yeah, normally there'd be bats all over here. So this bridge sometimes has a nice view down the river. And when the sun's right above that or starting to get low, it looks really pretty. You can't really tell. My skin is a bit glistening because it is still relatively humid. Just not anywhere near as humid as it normally would be. Even for late August. Oh, there's some ducks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's one or two on those rocks down there as well. They're just hanging out. I'm still getting used to this camera, so right now everything's just set on auto, and I'll play around with it more when I have videos or photos that fail. That's what teaches me what I should and shouldn't do. So, this is one of the views I like down the river. I can see a few more birds in the water down there. And if it weren't so cloudy, when the sun's sitting there, it really looks nice. This way, not quite as nice. I think it's because the trees close in on the sides there. Get my face back on. My hair's a mess, as is normal. For any day, my day off, I don't really care if my hair's neat. I have no idea if this is in focus. The screen is pretty small and I've got it all set on auto, as I mentioned. But I'm just letting a couple joggers get some distance before I swing onto the last path. I think it's good now. And I will swing onto the last path. Here we go. So this video is already almost 15 minutes long. I'll just upload the whole thing as it is with no edits. So we'll see if anyone wants to sit through a 15-minute video of me walking by a river. There's the ducks again. So this path here, I don't know what these people do in these buildings over here, but they've got a lot of PVC pipes and wood and lumber. They used to have a bunch of dogs that would hang out in front of it. Bigger dogs like German Shepherds and things, but haven't seen the dogs for quite a while. And must be something industrial. I have no idea what they do here along the river. And there's another place down here which is like a cemetery for vehicles, which I think is run by people from, I think it's from India. They might be from the Middle East, but I think they're from India. The music they play, I'm not an expert on those languages, but it sounds like Hindi. So I'm assuming it's music from India. I do not believe this is a garden. I think it's just really, really overgrown. But there are more gardens down here where I turn right. So this whole walk, if I go down both sides of the river, swing by the station, and then go up back to my apartment, is around 45 minutes. And if I stop to do some shopping at the supermarkets, it takes an hour. But it's a nice walk. There's one rice field, pretty small one, and another more traditional garden beyond it. But down here, there's some real rice fields that just take up that whole side of the river. And I have no idea how much rice they produce, or how much they sell, or if they can earn a living doing it. It doesn't seem like it's enough to sustain a family. But at the same time, it's bigger, and the work is more involved than I'd assume from a hobbyist. So where these trees are up ahead, right up there are usually feral cats that live in the trees, and sometimes they come out to relax in the road in the sun. But they generally hide in the brush, and in the spring there are lots of little ones that try to remain still and hope that you don't notice them. But if you notice them and you stop walking next to them, they generally scoot off into the trees and hide. So here's the last little turn before I make my big swing. And I'm not going to the station this time. After I turn off the camera, I'll just take a big swing and go up on the north side back to my apartment. Too bad there are no bats. I'll try to get a video of them later. Sunflowers have pretty much had it this year. So here's the vehicle cemetery. Trucks, and there's a Volkswagen Beetle tucked back in there, and all kinds of stuff. Nobody's working now. I guess it's after their working time. And here's where the feral cats hang out. Probably none. Oh, there's one. Hey, buddy. What are you doing? You gonna run away? Yep, there he goes. So here are some actual rice fields. This side here, vegetables and berries and whatnot. You can't really tell. Oh, I can't anyway. Maybe Mom can recognize what some of those leaves are. It's too dark to tell. And then this is rice. Rice, all the way to the train tracks. Now, if the sun were more visible, these fields look really pretty. Why is all this matted down like that? It wasn't like this in my walk last weekend. I didn't come by the river today. And it looks pretty wet as well, but it didn't rain today. That's weird. That's all rice. Look at it, those depressions in it. I wonder what... And there's like a huge one there. What the heck? But anyway, I'll shut this off pretty soon. This is almost a 20-minute video. I apologize for the length of the video. If it was too long and boring for you to sit all the way through, you probably aren't even hearing my apology. But I'll finish off by the rice paddies. And there are some houses here. These people lucked out. They got nice houses with a lot of open space around them. Okay, so we'll get the rice fields behind me. There we go. Well, thank you for watching if you made it this far. I'm going to try to put up at least one video a week. I want to get used to the camera, and and get some video editing software and actually produce real videos. Oh, there's one bat up in the sky there. Where did he go? Oh, he's gone. But they are coming out now, so I was just maybe 30 minutes early to get the bats. But anyway, this is Jason saying goodbye from a rice paddy, and I will go on the rice paddy and turn off the camera. Thank you for watching.